I'm not going to beat around the hook here, guys. Playing Jason is a lot of fun in the PTB. Whether I was killing bots or going against other people, it was just great being able to play as this horror icon. Because as I mentioned in a previous video, I never had a chance to play the original Friday the 13th game, and before you knew it, the servers for that game were already shutting down. And so I thought to myself, well, damn, I completely missed my shot to play as Jason. But by the grace of the entity, it looks like we were all given a second chance. And if there is one word I can use to describe him, it is just fun. But fun is pretty subjective. There are some people who have fun playing as a killer just because it's their favorite killer, while people who are more on the competitive side might only have fun if they're getting the 4K every game. Now, the funny thing about killer tier list is that I feel like for the majority of people, it really doesn't matter as much. Personally, I don't feel like this game is survivor-sided or killer-sided. I would more so categorize this as Swift-sided versus solo queue-sided. A halfway decent team in a voice call is definitely going to run floors around weak killers, and they might even give some S-tier killers some trouble. But if you're like me, where I spent the first 2,000 hours of my time in this game playing solo queue, then you know that the matchmaking in this game is ridiculous. Now, I do feel like the current meta that we're in right now is really great for solo queue survivors. You still have your strong perks like Decisive Strike, Dead Hard, or Shoulder the Burden. Pallet density was a nice huge buff for survivors. So with all of that in mind, as I think about Jason and where he could fall on a tier list, when I first look at the S tier killers, let's start from the top. Blight and Nurse, they have great map control and presence. Jason, his omnipresence is fast as fuck, but unlike killers like Wraith or Spirit, where they can pop out wherever they want, he's in an infinite state, but the drawback for that is that he can't see the survivor. Sure, he can see footprints, and if they're being still and stationary, he'll see like a red blob outline, but you're only tied of coming out of this power from pallets, breakable walls, or windows. So I feel like a lot more decision making has to come in, because let's say you see a survivor on a gen. You have to look, okay, where's the closest I can be? When I come out of my power, which way do I think they're going to run? What I think is a little cool and adds a little bit of a strategic element to it. But let's be real, we're playing DBD here. Killers and survivors like being on autopilot, and some people might be turned off by this. But where he really shines is in his projectile throws. Now, with a lot of projectile killers, like let's say Springtrap, because a lot of people want to compare Jason to Springtrap. Springtrap moves at a 4.4 speed while he's holding his axe. Jason, while coming out of omnipresence, gets a haste effect which boosts him from a 4.4 to a 4.6 speed. Granted, it's for a short duration, but still, that makes him faster than Springtrap while Springtrap is holding his power. So just by that, a lot of people want to put Jason above Springtrap, which I can kind of see for sure. And let me tell you, even reloading itself is very smooth. I'm very appreciative of how easy it is to reload up either at a hook or any of the scrap piles placed around the map. Didn't feel like there was any lag at all. Sometimes I didn't even need to look at it. I could walk right past it, hit my space button, and load right up while I was chasing a survivor. The only thing that sucks is that if you're on some kind of loop and you miss your shot, well, then you're pretty much, you're an M1 killer at that point. And if you have nothing really close nearby, you're going to have to hope that maybe the survivor, once you get out of that loop, is going to go somewhere where you have a little pit stop along the way to load back up again. So because of these two things where he's a bit limited in these areas, I'm going to place Jason in B tier. Now, for all my casuals out there, I know he's probably going to be a menace in your lobbies. He's going to seem he's like super strong, but solo queue is solo queue. I can almost guarantee you that if you get on with friends, you guys can pretty much easily run Jason around. But from everything I've been seeing in the comp DBD scene, I just can't see Jason being that strong. But I guess only time will tell. This is just my first initial thoughts on the guy. If you're just a fan of Jason Voorhees in general, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun playing him. Really take the time, spend it going against some bots in custom games to get used to his power, get used to shifting in and out, to seeing the little animation to know that you make sure that you get out of the right spot, and really take the time to practice your throws. But yeah, I'm just excited that he's in the game. I am a little disappointed in the cosmetic choices. Now, I understand licensing is the issue here, so I can't be too upset. I was hoping we were going to get some movie stuff, but I should have known better when I realized that this licensing was just going to be tied to Jason himself. There's like maybe one or two that catch my eye, but yeah, I can't say I'm going to get too much for this guy. With the addition of Jason, we also got 3 new killer perks. The first one being Hex Scared to Death. After you hook 3 different survivors, a dull totem will ignite. While chasing survivor, whenever you basic break a pallet, survivors within 13 meters will scream and they'll be hindered for 3 seconds. Now, what I like what they were going with the design of this perk is that it does incentivize the killer to hook, different people. Now, it doesn't outright stop tunneling because you can still tunnel out the first survivor and then have this perk in your back pocket to kind of like help in the end game. But because it's tied to 3 different survivors, it has a little bit of a long requirement to build up. Sure, Hex Devour Hope also has a bit of a requirement build up, but that at least gets you the ability to insta knock down survivors, while this one just hinders them and you still have to break a pallet. I'm not really feeling this perk too much. Next is Silent Shadow. When the trial starts, you gain undetectable for about 13 seconds or until you down a survivor, and when all generators are completed, you gain undetectable. Now for me, this perk feels a little fun. It feels a little fun, feels a little gimmicky. I just love getting jump scares on survivors, so being undetectable at the end feels great. But let's say you're a killer that's trying to do a kill streak. As far as I know, for some of the rules, if all the generators get done, you have to get the 4K at that point. So I really don't see this perk being too useful for anyone trying to rack up a lot of kills. But I don't know, I'll put this in a little bit of a fun category. And lastly, we have Rampage, which I like to think of as the anti-bully perk. Whenever you basic break a pallet or breakable wall, you get 1 token up to 13. And whenever you are blinded or pallet stunned for the next 13 seconds, you gain 1% haste for each token. Now this one has also too a very long requirement to build up, at least to get to the max potential of 13% haste. Maybe you could bring something in like Enduring to eat the pallet stuns a little less and really catch survivors off guard. And I'm really glad that you don't have to spend any of the tokens. The tokens that you build up stay permanent with you. But let's say you're going against a 4-man bully squad with flashlights. I feel like this would be hilarious after getting blinded, just running up on their asses. Again, it does kind of sucks that you have to eat either a blind or a stun, a pallet stun that is, but I can see this just being just another really fun perk. So nothing I feel like too game breaking, unlike the survivor perks that we were given to test out in this PTB. I'm not going to get into those perks in this video, but man, oh man, was that causing issues on Twitter day one. Overall, I'm really excited for when Jason is about to come out. I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping he's going to get some sort of buff before the release date. If he gets any nerfs, then I really can see him falling a little bit lower in the tiers in my mind. But again, only time will tell, and this is just my first initial thoughts on the killer. Let me know if you guys are excited as well to play him. I'm definitely going to be grinding the hell out. And if you'd like to check that out, I do stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at about 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I'd love to know what you guys think about this killer and where he ranks in a tier list. Until then, y'all take it easy.